Are we live? Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Adeola Olatunji of 𝗦𝗂 Consulting Africa. I'm Senior Advisor on Health at 𝗦𝗂 Consulting Africa, but of course, everybody is welcome here this afternoon. This is the fifth edition of our masterclass, if I'm correct. And I want to first thank you for joining and to let you know that today's masterclass promises to be interesting. A lot of you have are coming in through LinkedIn, where you've seen who our honored guest today will be. So, without dragging it out too much, Adekunle, can you present? What I'm going to do is give you a background of 𝗦𝗂 and what we do, introduce our framework and today's topic, and then I'll bring in our guest, who I'm still keeping secret, even though it's not a secret anymore. So, welcome again. We are 𝗦𝗂 Consulting Africa, and to dive right into it, this masterclass is based on this masterclass series are based on our proprietary scale framework. This scale framework is an adaptable five-step roadmap to business transformation. Using this framework, African businesses are empowered to turn their business visions into reality. Now, this scale is an acronym. If you go to the next slide, this scale is an acronym for strategize your vision, C, champion excellence, A, accelerate exceptional leadership, L for leveraging governance for sustainable growth, and E is expand your impact via growth capital. We've covered the different letters before: strategize, champion, leverage governance, and accelerate exceptional leadership. Today, we'll be focusing on expanding your impact via growth capital. We'll This will be a good time to then bring in our guest, with whom we'll be exploring this topic with. I invite you all to please make this a very collaborative session. We received some questions ahead of the masterclass, which I'll be asking him. But please fire him all your questions about expanding your impact via growth capital, all your questions about finance, all your questions about raising capital or managing capital as a startup or as a scale up, as an SME. So without further ado, Dr. King, can you come on air? Hi, Dr. King, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good to be with you, Dr. Adeola, on the program. And hello to every viewer that is viewing from all over the world. Thank you all for being here.
Yes. Hi, hi, Christian. Yes. So we have audiences from YouTube, from LinkedIn. I think these are the places. So I've introduced myself, Dr. King. I know that quite a bit of your followership followed you to this masterclass. However, for our audience that is not part of your core followership, I'd like you to give a short introduction about yourself, and then we flow into today's topic.
Great, thank you. My name is Solomon. Everybody knows that by now. I work with the Lagos Angel Network, LAN, as executive director. And at LAN, what we do is make more people interested in angel investing. So we work with high net worth individuals to get them to add angel investing to their investment strategy. And then, so we're actively recruiting high net worth liquid individuals to be angels. We're funding lots of innovative startups and SMEs as we find interesting in the ecosystem. And thirdly, at LAN, we're very heavy on policies and advocacy. And so we engage government agencies, other corporates to see that the laws, the the environment, the business environment is suitable and more friendly to the entrepreneurs and the businesses that work in there. When I'm not at LAN, I'm still working in the startup space, advising lots of startups and SMEs on capital management, attracting necessary funding, and I do that through my personal consulting practice called Boodle. Boodle is another word for money, so it's not spelled the normal way, but that's majorly what I do. So I'm largely described as a capital alchemist, someone who works to attract and retain and optimize capital. I have a PhD in financial accounting and a DBA in financial management. So that's where the doctor comes from, and
Great.
I'm your guy.
Yes, 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 indeed. So we have the financial alchemist here today. So let's see what magic we create and explain to our audience also how to create. So then I'll just go straight to our first question. So now I want to tell the audience, feel free to put your questions in the chat from wherever you're joining, from LinkedIn, from YouTube. Put in your questions, we'll be able to see them and address them. So, Dr. King, first question is, as the senior prefect, that's what you call yourself, alchemist. I call you senior prefect. As the senior prefect of the Lagos Angel Network, how do you identify founders with resilience as well as strong business models, especially in the early stages when things are still a little vague? You know? So, how do you identify these founders?
So yeah, I like the fact that you call me senior prefect because that makes me not like the principal. Students usually run away from the principal, but they're a bit somewhat comfortable with the SP. So I try to look like founders. I'm with them. I sit with them. I'm at lunch a lot with a lot of founders, and I'm able to tell by just listening. You'll be shocked what is in the mind of a founder, and you'll be shocked how much you can tell by just sitting around someone and listening to them talk about their business when they are not pitching, when they're not under pressure to perform, just talking about the business, and then you can tell what the real state of their heart is. Do they see the problem? Do they feel the problem? Do they have a connection with the problem? So you also want to know from their stories, um, where they're coming from, what history they have with the problem they're trying to solve, or is it another me too can be an entrepreneur kind of arrangement. So you're able to just tell by hanging around long enough. And so I try to do that as part of my job, to be in the places where founders are. So I'm at the mixers. I go to almost every event I am invited to if I can be there, just so that I can spot out guys who are really interested in doing the right things. Because in every contraption of people, there are always fakes, and in the startup ecosystem, we have a lot of fakers. So yeah, you really can tell by just really listening. And so active listening is one of the things that the investor needs to sharpen when they're picking out um, deals to do. And because most of the investing is first into the founder, and so you really would listen out for their resilience. Of course, again, to be able to get out information, you now begin to ask questions that border around how they've handled pressured moments without looking like you are pitching. So It's in the relaxed atmosphere. It's at lunch. It's just general gist, but you can tell if this person will waste your time or otherwise.
Okay. So so far you are taking the um, investor position, the person who wants to deploy capital. I would like us to, because of our topic, where we say we want to guide people on expanding their impact via growth capital. I would like you to take the voice of um,
The feedback.
like you are speaking with, so talk as if I am a startup person and you are giving this counsel directly to me. Adeola, if you want to expand your impact right look at that. So this question
Ah,
will be answered, but for the future
okay,
ones, a more,
okay.
so to change your persona a bit from the person who owns and want to deploy the capital to the
I
person
understand that.
who is guiding someone to get capital.
I understand that. I understand that. So again, it's a question of authenticity. Do you really believe in the problem that you're solving? Or are you solving it because, or are you around this space because it feels like people are making a killing from the startup ecosystem? Are you here because you want to raise some capital so that you can relocate? Or are you here to truly solve a problem? Then, how much of work have you done in terms of researching and understanding this problem and providing an edge, a solution to it? Because if you're not ready, down the line, it will get very tough.
Even with capital.
Oh, capital is not enough. Capital is not enough. You can have all the money in the world and still fail. A quick example comes to mind. Builder AI. They had over 100 million US dollars. Said they were building an AI company. But no, it wasn't an AI company. It was a lot of hundreds of Indians managing the
Mhm.
AI and went bust.
Managing the eye.
It made managing the I, so it was H high, not AI, and it went bust. So the point is, you can have all the capital because capital is not all there is to the funding to the whole entrepreneurship game. There's a lot more, and a lot of that hinges on how much heart you have, how much metal you have, how much how bad you want it and what you're willing to do to hold on because it certainly will get tough. And then it's even more tougher in an environment such as ours in Nigeria and across Africa, really.
So now that we mentioned the environment, I'm gonna. So I asked this. This was a deep, a rather focused question. I want us to come out now into the ecosystem. So I want your perspective on the African startup landscape. How has this? How has the approach of this ecosystem evolved in the past 3 years? And what trends are you excited about in 2025 in the present time? About the ecosystem, about how people are attracting capital, investing this capital.
So prior to now, Africa was a floor of excitement. So lots of people came in with capital, hoping that there were going to be lots of quick wins and the African market was awash, really, with phony and funny capital, and suddenly everybody wanted to be a VC. Suddenly everybody was attracting funds. Two boys gathered together, they create something, and bam, they get funding. And so the in the last 10 years, for example, a lot of businesses have gone bust. A lot of capital has gone under. And then the whole investing community and even the ecosystem is now revisiting what truly matters. And the businesses that have stayed true and stayed the test of time have now been the ones who really came out to solve real problems, taking the African ecosystem into cognizance so that what works in the US and the UK and in other developed economies may not work here because we have our own very peculiar challenges, challenges around policy, challenges around political instability, the forex drama across Africa, not just in Nigeria alone, across Africa. And, of course, the need for a better life and the impact of poverty in Africa. And culturally, people tend to take that for granted. We don't quite respect the effect of poverty and culture and values and how that affects the kind of entrepreneurship that we are practicing in Africa. People want to not necessarily solve a problem, they just want to eat. It's a lot more about subsistence entrepreneurship. I need to feed me, feed my family. So it's not so much about thinking on a large scale, grand scale, solve Nigeria's power problem. No, I just want $1 million and be good. I just want to do my small part and be good. Or I'm okay if I get $100,000 extra and I'm out of here. And so all that has come to play,
Okay.
and several kinds of businesses have come up and gone under, and the investors are now looking closely. So, coming to what is exciting me now is the fact that first, there are a different set of investors coming into the market now. Investors who are more critical, the scrutiny level is higher, they are more patient before deploying capital. Then there is the, because of the level of scrutiny, the quality of businesses have also improved so that not every Tom, Dick, and Harry can get capital anymore. People are now very picky about what businesses they go into. Yeah, I know there's the conversation about, oh, there's so much money going to fintech. Fintech seems to be dominating the place. But that's another conversation on its own. Probably we'll get to that if time permits. But even in the fintech space, there's a lot of weeding out. There's a lot of cleaning up of the ecosystem. But again, the interesting things that I find in the ecosystem is capital is coming back, but it's coming back wiser. It's coming back with a lot more perspective. There's a lot of noise now saying, hey, what works in Silicon Valley is not going to work across Africa. And Africans are also getting heavily interested in what's going on in the tech ecosystem here. By virtue of my job at LAN, I'm able to get first-hand information as to the level of interest across the world in the African tech ecosystem, and that is gaining momentum. And so I like that capital is coming in. I like that the businesses are getting better, and we're moving gradually away from subsistence entrepreneurship, like I call it, into um, into more broad-based problem-solving approach, scale of impact using capital, in the words of Zer.
Mm.
And more importantly, I think what I'm enjoying now is people are now calling out AI, and we're wanting to be sure what really is AI. In the last year or two, there was a funny trend. Everybody wanted to put AI in the things that they were doing. Or
Yeah.
when agricultural business using AI to, were a so formal business using AI to, and it was all over the place. And one trend that I'm enjoying now is the fact that people are asking, when you say you use AI to do stuff, what exactly are you talking about? And so the scrutiny level is improving. Yes, there's movement towards AI, but proper adoption of it
Okay.
is being encouraged.
Okay. If I can, so from this 20 minutes now, the gems I've picked are number one, when you said it's uh it's more than capital. Like capital is like when you said that for founders, yes, you can have all the capital and you still will not make your impact or you still will not fail. So it's more than capital.
It is.
Number two is you said number two gem I've picked is you said yes. There was a trend of easy capital in the prior say 3 years, but now capital is coming back wiser. So, as someone seeking to expand your impact or the impact of your entrepreneurship via growth capital, you need to be mindful of this. That yes, access to capital is back. Maybe yeah, it's growing, but you need to know this is wise capital that comes with a lot of scrutiny on what you are actually aiming to achieve. Another very
Indeed.
important thing I got from you is solve for your environment, solve for the African ecosystem. That's
Absolutely.
more than capital. That's impact. You cannot solve a problem for I don't know somebody in Oceania, someone in another continent or in another ecosystem. Good. So I'll come out of my questions we received before and take some questions from our participants. Yes, Christian has asked if he needs a co-founder or a team now to get funded, or can he get funded as a solo entrepreneur and then get the team? So, which comes first? Build the team, raise capital, or raise capital and build the team? That's how I've framed this question.
It's a brilliant question. And what comes to mind readily in answering that is, what are you about? What's your business about? Can you provide value as a business being a solo founder? Can your business solve the problem, prove um, prove the concept, provide solutions, provide value with without a team or with a team, so that the issue is not about sorry, the issue is not about whether or not you have a team. The issue is, do you have a business? Can that business run with a team or without a team? Because the investor is not so much about the team alone. It's more about, is there a business behind this thing that you're saying? And so, my take on that question will be clearly, if you need the team to provide value, then get the team. If you can provide value and the team joins on as you're building, then you can go in that direction. But the foundation of this question is more about, is there a business there? Is there value being created? Because usually what happens is this: people start looking for capital before they've even thought the business
Demonstrating
through.
value. Yeah.
Yeah, before they've demonstrated value. And so the origin of this question actually is not this thing I see up here, but it's the mindset behind it. And the question I now have back for Christian is there a business there or not?
Christian, I hope we uh, guided you in a good direction. The next question is, what do investors look for when funding multi-sector African startups that prioritize long-term impact over quick returns?
Okay, I don't understand the question. That's big English in it.
Can you let me see if I understand the question. So
The English in the question is too much.
I'm
What do
this startup,
investors look for
yeah.
when funding multi-sector African startups? Now that is a huge contraption of a lot of words together that we will now need another 30 days to decipher before we're getting into the part where it says long-term impact over quick returns.
So I think the question has been disaggregated in the next question. So, what's the best way to attract growth capital for a Nigerian startup solving real problems across agriculture, edtech, and waste to wealth sectors, but not yet at Series A level?
That's still a lot of questions in one. You want to attract, so I would just attack it as best as possible. The best way to attract capital is to prove value. The best way for anybody to come on board of your boat is to show them that you are providing value. Whether you're providing value in agriculture, in edtech, in waste to wealth, you need to show that there is a business there, and there is people being served, and there's a large market for it, because the investor is not about your English, is not necessarily about your story. Even if the investor is an impact investor, every investor always has a motivation around the result, the end result, whether it's a DFI, whether it's the VC, whether it's an angel. All investors usually have what their motivations are. Now, your job as a founder, an entrepreneur, is to show that your business helps their motivation. Your business helps them achieve what they want to achieve. And so, if you are in a situation where your business touches on agriculture, touches on ed tech, and it is multi-sectoral, as you put it, the issue will now be, who are you trying to reach part time, so that you can tilt your story to fit the motivation and objective of the funding institution or funder you're trying to reach. So if you're trying to reach the IFC, you're trying to reach CBN or the World Bank, what do they want? How does your business help them achieve it? If you're trying to reach angel investors, you come to us at LAN. What do angel investors typically seek? How can your business help them achieve it? So, the word that is key here is attract. You attract the kind of investor that you need based on the value proposition that your business brings to bear.
Yeah. So, um, I hope that question was well answered to the audience. Because we just talked now about a multi-sector thing, I want to ask a question about operational discipline. So, what advice would you give investors looking to move beyond capital and genuinely support their enterprise in building grit and operational discipline? Because I put this particular question because this is something I notice a lot. People are trying to raise capital, and then you see their portfolio, and they are doing so many things. And I'm asking, I don't know the size of your team as a startup, but for an established enterprise, all of these things you are trying to do will be challenging. So, yes, I know there is a passion to solve problems, but there has to be discipline to direct this passion effectively, right? So, I would just like you to say something about that.
So that takes us slightly back to where we're coming from in that multi-sectoral person. The person who is doing agric, edtech, and waste to hunting is has planned to kill himself already. Because the thing is, if you try to do too many things at once, you won't get anything done properly. You can't be a conglomerate at startup level. You can't. You've got to find one place, master it, and grow from there. So, if an investor, for example, is wanting to support a startup, one of the things they want to help them do is cut off certain things. So, I'll give you an example. I'm on the board of a logistics company, the logistics startup. I'm actually the chairman of board there. And within the space where they play, they serve trucks and cars and bikes like every other person. And they struggle to make revenues from the bike end. So the bicycle end, they struggle a lot to make revenues. But they make a lot of revenues from one or two truck deliveries. And I say to them, hey, what are you sweating and trying to be like every other person for when nobody is even looking at moving goods in truckloads? You made how much today? They said 150,000 naira. You made 150 from one transaction? You should do 10 of this and amplify your growth. So, in terms of operational excellence, examples such as that helps you to say, look at your revenue streams and focus on those that provide more revenues with less effort. And that's one of the things that a- an investor helps you do. The investor helps you streamline, the investor helps you focus, the investor helps you um, have operational efficiency and help you be effective in the things that you can do. Because again, startups are typically run by young people, typically, not all of the times, but typically run by young people. And young people believe that energy and activity are the same thing as being effective and being resourceful, producing results. But as you go along, you realize that the less energy you expend to produce the more results, the better you are, whether as a human being or as a business. And so, what investors and startups, what a board will do for you is help you see the things that are blindsiding you because, as the operator, you are busy, you're all over the place. And somebody sitting back and looking at your business with his own benefit of hindsight and experience is hard helps any startup. And so I usually would say that run towards corporate governance, run towards having a group of advisors who can help you see the things that you're not seeing, even in operations.
Thank you. So we'll take two more questions from our participants before we go back to our um, pre-collected questions. Priscilla says, "Rich conversation here. Thank you. How can I build confidence in investors despite limited current business due to affiliation gaps?" Priscilla, are you before Dr. King will say too much English here? It's how the way I'm interpreting your question is, how do I get investors to have confidence in me even though they don't know me very well yet? Is that a good way to interpret your question, Priscilla?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's what it is. And so she's called it affiliation gaps.
Affiliation
Ah,
gaps. I
you don't
like
know
that.
English. You don't know English in this. You don't know in this English in this master class. Anyway,
But
so
I see that as I see that because even for people who are used to entrepreneurship, raising capital, there's always this initial thing. Okay, I don't know this guy. How do I approach them? How do I approach them? Retaining my authenticity, which is something you mentioned before. How do I raise capital while retaining my authenticity, but still um, presenting to them what they would like to fund? So
I think
affiliation.
that I think that more entrepreneurs need to learn the art of conversations, learn the art of networking. This was something that I had to deliberately. Are we together?
Yes, I'm here. I can see you. I can hear you.
Okay, seems like it's from my end, but we may be good now.
Yes, we are good now.
Okay, so I was saying that it was something that I had to learn pretty early and focus on networking and meeting people and developing the capacity to be a people person is critical for any business person. You have to invest in your personal brand. You have to invest in networking. You must have a budget for it. Personal budget or an organizational budget where there are conferences you cannot afford not to attend. And when you get into those conferences, you don't just sit down and go home. You participate in those conversations as best as possible, and you go to these meetings prepared. Which meeting is it? Who is going to be in there? In what way can they help my business? In what way can my business help them? Because fundraising is a people business. Fundraising is about the quality and quantity of relationships you are able to amass. So if there is affiliation gap, thank God you have discovered the gap. Now you've got to do something deliberately about it. You can't sit behind your desk, sit behind your computer, and expect that this affiliation gap is going to just close up suddenly. No, you've got to be strategic about it. Identify who you need to know. Identify who would add value to your business, whether as a VC, whether as an angel, and be careful not to target the wrong person. I remember early in my fundraising consulting career, one of my major undoings, God bless the clients who were paying me that time for that, was I was just, I'm a great guy. People like me. I'm a fine boy. Anywhere I go to, they would listen to me. And true to it, they would listen to me, but they couldn't do much for me because I was taking the right product to the wrong market. Not every investor is fit for your business. Not every investor is crafted to fund your business. So you want to spend time researching and knowing the kind of investor that is suitable for your kind of business. And you do that by a lot of research. And that's one of the concerns that I have. And it's probably one of the things that I'm focusing on in the next 6 months. People don't do enough research when raising funds. They just get on the street and do a scattergun approach. The best approach to fundraising actually is sniping. Look for the one person, the two people who fit your thesis. So you need to have a thesis as a business. What kind of investor are you looking for? Is it an investor who understands your space or just anybody? Are you looking for just any kind of money? And I tell people that hey, not all money is good for you. There's money that will come and mess up the whole thing that you are building. So you need to decide what kind of investor that you're looking for. What kind of capital is it that you want? Is it debt capital you want? Is it equity you want? Is it a quasi equity structure that you want? It depends. Is it pure grants that you're looking for? Whatever it is that you're looking for, there is a funder that meets that thesis that you have. And so fundraising really should be a marriage of investing and fund needs thesis. What is the thesis of the investor, and what is your thesis? What are your needs? What's your funding strategy? Do they meet? If that alignment is there, then it'll be good for you. So businesses and their founders and entrepreneurs need to be more strategic about fundraising. It's not a walk in the park. It's really a body of knowledge on its own, and people need to spend time around it.
So your answer to that would be yes, there will be affiliation gaps, but this is part of your job as an entrepreneur to find people who are a good fit, who you want to be affiliated with, in this case investors, and then approach them in a prepared way,
Indeed.
structured.
I like the way you used to make my answers shorter. It makes it really sweet.
Good. So I'll take the question from Jude, and then I'll go back to our collection here. Please, what do you have for founders in the idea or pre-seed stage looking for funding to build their MVP? Funding to build, what would be your recommendation for the people looking for funding to build an MVP?
I told you before. Let me say it again. Like you did not hear. It'd be like you did not hear. Let me say it again. It's
Jude, this
tougher
is to
now.
you.
It's tougher now to find somebody who would provide capital for you to build an MPV. It's way tougher. So I would say that again, look for venture studios. Venture studios are usually those kind of businesses that would allow you bring your idea and then they help you nurse it and help you build the MPV. So look for a venture studio. Maybe you look for an angel who is open to that. So we're working with a business now, for example, that is pre MPV. Interestingly,
Free
we're able to yeah,
MVP.
pre MPV. Interestingly, we're able to um, help get an angel who was open. In fact, two angels um, who were open to providing funding for the MPV. But always understand that these angels or these investors will probably take a larger share or a large chunk of your business if it turns out good. But you would still find some angels or some studios that would help you go through the process of creating the pre-seed stage or the pre-seed business or the MPV. Yeah, they are there, but you need to find them. But please don't go around town um, just pitching. I think that's one of the things that gets to me. Somebody sees you on the road and starts to tell you immediately, "Hello, Solomon. My name is this. Is we are building this," and I hear that, Doctor D. I hear like 10 or 15 of that on an average day. My
Dang.
inbox, one, yeah, 15 of that on average day, and I dare say that if it is happening to me like this, it's happening to a lot other founders. And I would want that founders understand that founders are human beings. They want to help you. They truly want to help you, but you have to look for the way to reach them. And I was saying this in a class I had on Sunday evening. I called for a meeting and I say, "Hey, I'm reviewing a book and I'm going to be here for an exclusive meeting. If you want an invite, show up." There were four people in that meeting, and I'm good. In fact, I was happy for the four people because I know them now. You don't reach a founder where there is a crowd, where there is noise. You will be treated in the same way. You go to the places where it's like hunting. A lion doesn't hunt a goat in the head. He isolates him and then strikes. So the founder needs to begin to understand that fundraising and getting the right funder is a lot about the business of how do I find this person? Where do I isolate him? Another trick is this. If I write a note to a VC as just a regular founder and I put it in his inbox, maybe there are like 500 pieces of it, of such things.
Mhm.
Well, when you meet them, for example, at a networking event, and you just introduce yourself and pay attention to the VC, you pay attention to the investor. You say to them, "How can I help you? What can I do for you?" Provide value. Money does that. I have a writing on my wall in my study. Money does not go to who needs it. Money goes to who provides value. Too many founders and entrepreneurs are in the gimme place. Gimme, 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 gimme. There is no part of this whole conversation where the founder seeks to provide value for the investor. And so um, Jude, provide value for the investor, because at pre-seed or idea stage, you are even riskier than any other kind of business. So it would be tougher to find somebody who would fund at that level. But hey, there are angels that will provide support. There are venture studios that will provide support. There are incubators that will provide support for you and get you to the stage where somebody else can take you on. You have grants and other programs that provide free funds for you to incubate and grow your idea. So those will be four quick funders top of my head that you can look for: angels, venture studios, um, incubators and incubation programs. And don't go to accelerators. Accelerators accelerate what already exists. Incubators will help you go through that. Some venture studios come across as accelerators, and then I don't remember the fourth one. I know I mentioned four of them. If you remember, go with it.
Good. Um, we will take Jane's question, but I want us to come into our collection here and ask something about green flags and red flags. So, briefly, because it's been a juicy conversation at about time, we need to be more disciplined with the time. So, green flags and red flags. What are the three? Tell us three green flags you look for, these financial signals you routinely look for in startups that you see. I'm like, this guy is my guy. They're going to fund him, or he's in a good place, or he's in a good path. And on the other side, three red flags that I'm like, guys, you need to fix this. It makes you less attractive for capital. So, three green flags, red flags.
Okay. When you say green flags, I'll just probably take one of the businesses that LAN is funding now and how that's played about. Immediately I heard her, she spoke from her heart. And you could see that she had spent a lot of time studying the problem. And she's taking a regular mundane problem and spinning it up top of the head. And so, back to the word I mentioned: be authentic, be truly, genuinely interested in the problem you're trying to solve. The funny thing is, Solan boasts of over 200 angels and very strong, for example, very strong 55 individual. And everybody who saw this business just goes, yes, yes. So you want to be the kind of business that people jump at. And it comes from studying the environment and seeing the problems and doing something about it. The lady said to me, "Oh, she spent um, 13 million naira on R&D to create the product." She has her own money, and but I'm saying be authentic, love people enough to want to help solve that problem, and so and then let the problem be huge and be big enough. Do the right research in terms also of financials. I like it when you can easily see the money. You can easily see the money. If everybody sees the problem, you bring the solution. Let the unit economics be clear. If you have made some sales, all the more better. And so that you don't want to spend 300 naira to make 100 naira. That's not good business.
Yeah.
Your margins should be wide enough for there to be play space in there. Let the investors see how they can get dividends from day one. Not even acquisition. Acquisition is very far. From day one, go for a business that somebody can see the money quickly. So think in terms of financial returns for the investor. Think in terms of being authentic and truly finding a solution, and let there be large enough market. Now, in all this, ensure that you are the right entrepreneur. Not all of us can be entrepreneurs. Some of us don't have the the patience to be questioned. Somebody said to me several years ago, he says, if you don't, if you cannot receive insults, don't go and ask for somebody's money. He
Yes.
said it in Yoruba. I'm so like, in Yoruba language, it's sweeter. But it just means that if you cannot be questioned, if you don't want to be accountable, don't show up. So I usually would look for these things in an entrepreneur, and you can sniff them out. You can sniff them out intrinsically, listening, looking. Um, you can just tell.
Okay.
Then flip these things, and then you'll be seeing the red flag. You see people who have no business in entrepreneurship. The problem is not a problem. You see people start a business around something that you truly know is not a problem. It's just a hobby. It's just some flimsy itch. Okay, so I don't want to berate anybody's business right now, but um, if the market is not large enough, if not enough people have that problem, then it's not a good fit. One other thing is the temperament of the investor, of the founder. Several great ideas come to the table, but in interacting with the founders, you just get feedback like, no, Solomon, I can't deal with this person. She's proud. She cannot be coached. Um, I remember in one meeting someday, um, one of the angels said, this your English speaking shirring person. I can't give the person my money. Oh." And it's not always the same elements for institutional investors, but again, fundraising, investing is a people business. So if you don't have likability, it may be difficult for you to get funding. Recently, I'm on a project for raising funds for a certain business. And as great as that business is, the model is brilliant. Everywhere we get to, somebody always says to me, this your founder will not be able to raise money. This your founder will not be able to raise money. And I'm trying to tell the guy with style and system, but so to the point that if you also cannot tell a great story or you don't have the personality to do that, you may want to attract a co-founder to help you soften the face of the business. So I hope three of the
Okay.
red
So
flags.
I was taking notes if you notice. So green flags, you look out for authenticity, having a strong interest in the problem being solved, having unit economics that are clear and attractive to investors. And very importantly, to underline all of that is openness to accountability.
Indeed,
And then if we flip those ones, we have the red flags that you look out for.
indeed, indeed.
So now Jane's question will be our last question before we wrap up. Jane asks, how can female founders in Africa better position themselves for early stage capital, especially when traction is strong but network access is limited?
I think we've belabored this issue
This
enough.
is related to the affiliation gap.
Yeah,
Yes.
affiliation gap thing. So just invest in networking, attend the necessary meetings, meet people, be strategic about networking. Don't fold your hands. And again, nobody came into life with networks. We all built them. We all built them. So be strategic about it. I remember going into certain meetings with the mindset that I'm going to meet this person. By the time I'm leaving this meeting, this person must know me personally. And I go there, I haven't researched them. Research them. What do they like? What meetings do they go to? Do they go to a mosque? What is the name of the mashalashi that they go to? Research them and go. So Fundraising is first a question of research, researching the funder that you want to attract, the kind of people you want in your game. You research them, you find out about them, then position yourself to provide value to them. And then it becomes a synergy that works.
What a discussion. Do we have time for one very quick question from Precious before we go? So this is now going to Investing 101. Precious is asking, um, Precious is usually confused between the terms angels and informal capital sourcing. Precious used to think angels are just regular family and friends who help kickstart the seed stage. But right now, things is starting to see it differently, and it looks like angels are really organized and structured like VC firms. So,
So the quick remark to that is yes, you're very correct. So it's the F&F and Angel round. Usually they're always in the same place. Family and friends are also angels, but angel investing is now fast becoming institutionalized. So you have angel networks. Individual angels are also increasingly developing levels of scrutiny to be able to not lose money. Lots of angels in times past have lost so much money. Now they're tired of answering the name fools. I did an article on that recently. So nobody wants to play the fool anymore. People are now getting more organized and indeed more institutionalized to help the ecosystem.
okay, so Precious, yeah, I think your sentiment is right there that
Absolutely.
angels are getting more and more organized and structured. So, Dr. King, I wish this conversation wasn't ending, but like all good things, we need to wrap up and let people go. Jude
Yeah.
said, Jude, one of our guys here, says he wishes such convos last 2 hours at the least. He's loving it. Thank you very much, Dr. Solomon. We should print out this thing and frame it. Jude is loving it.
Yeah, great stuff. I was going to say that it would take a you to drag me out like this. I usually don't like plenty talk.
Thank you. Thank you. So,
But thank you for making me do this. I probably will not do it on my own. I like to be the one asking the questions and just disturbing the whole place.
well, this time we are the ones disturbing, but and thank you for answering us. Thank you for coming to educate us and our audience. So, I would like to wrap up by thanking everyone that has come to learn with us today and to let you know as we wrap up about there what our focus is. Colleagues, if we can put the deck back up. So this masterclass is an ongoing series by Z Consulting Africa, focusing or building on our skill framework. The elements of this skill framework. Today we were focusing on the E, which is expand your impact via growth capital. We've gone through SCAL and E. So these are elements. This is the framework we apply when we help in our consulting practice to help our businesses and our partners grow. Please, you can scan this QR code on the screen to take the scorecard it will help give you a view of your position as a business um, in line with our scale. Whether you're ready to scale or there are gaps you still need to close. And of course, there's the book by our founder, Afro-Optimism Unleashed, because everything we do it with an Afro-optimistic mindset. So please get the book from anywhere you get books. It's available on Amazon, on Audible. Take the scorecard and follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on everywhere social media. We're everywhere. Follow us to stay in touch with our activities and to get informed about the next masterclass, which we do every 2 weeks. So, lastly, thank you, Dr. King. Thank you to everyone that joined us today. It was a really exciting session for me. I learned a lot, maybe because I was asking questions, but I got the feeling from the audience that you guys also learned a lot. So, thank you very much. And until next time, it's bye from me.